Thanks, Gabby. We're here at the Grove allotments for the league's 5th round fixture between Jaipur Takeaway and Hardly Athletic FC. The Bruner boys are looking for their first win of the season after a horrific run of mostly away games, and much of the press have written off their chances this season, but after resting a few key players, they're raring to go on home turf against some tubby mid-table rivals in HAFC.
Home turf indeed, Flano. It's my first time here this season and I've had a walk around the ground. To be frank, it's mainly turf out there and there ain't much in the way of grass. There is a bit of seasonal veg to be found though, and if you make it as far as the corner opposite, you might find some Swedes poking out of there, so the set piece takers will need to be careful of that. Don't get me wrong, I ain't suggesting foul play by the ground staff, but it'll be the same conditions for both teams, and Jesus, the fans won't be expecting much in the way of quality, unless they're into their onions.
Pleased to be alongside Fred from Bernie's again this week, a man who shoots from the hip and never pulls a punch in his analysis. One of the game's great analysts, known for ejaculating truth bullets into his microphone.
Yeah, if you say so, Flano, though I'm not quite sure what you're going on about. Still, who's listening? And who cares really? All we really care about is what goes on down there. On the pitch, both sides will be gasping for a win today.
Indeed, Jaipur are yet to taste that sweet smell of success this season, and with a rested team will be wanting to turn that energy into 3 points. HFC will have other ideas though. Ideas very much along the line of scoring more goals and winning here today, meaning that they take the 3 points home with them.
Exactly, Flano. HAFC have had a couple of good results in the league and they're sitting comfortably mid-table right now. Manager Craig Mace has been doing all he can to get his players up to their optimum weight to give them as much of a chance of winning that physical battle with a strict diet of pies and mash. He's still fine-tuning it though, and the balance between mobility and just sheer volume still needs a bit of work for his squad.
Well, yes, Fred, the form's been patching. That could be down to the ballooning frames of his players. The Bruner boys will be hoping that their pace will give them the edge on the pitch today.
Yes, Flano, Mace has been going for broke with his team selections in both the league and the cup, so there's a few tired legs, and with those extra kilos it could cause some tired legs to also be heavy legs in every sense. Either way, every player out there will need his legs today, right and left. Not just legs though, they'll need some art and some brains. You can't just turn up without your brain and expect to get a result in this league or in this world.
Let's get to the team sheets then. Manager Dr. Krishnan Heron Burgundy has a fresh squad to pick from, and he's gone with a full strength team. Club captain Gareth Unwin starts in goal and has been an energetic part of this team this season. He brings a bit of spike and some athleticism to an already dynamic team.
Yeah, that's right, Mark. Christina Herman Burgundy seems to know what she's going on about. I like the team she's got down on paper today. I like Unwin. He might be a wild card to some, but he gives you that edge as captain, and you need that kind of needle to keep everybody honest. What he lacks in creativity, he makes up with passion, and is worth his weight in gold with unlimited access to that local sports centre, which some have said has inflated his value in the transfer market. I hear he's one of the top earners at Takeaway.
Yeah, certainly a golden goose in terms of what he brings to the team and the chairman by reducing overheads. I believe that some of the squad have been asking for equal pay with Unwin, much to the annoyance of Santosh Palou. At the back, it's the mountainous Simon Hancock, the bulky bungle who'll rumble in the jungle with anyone foolish enough to goad him into a frenzy.
Yes, I like the cut of his jib, old Hancock. He was a great signing for Crimson Herbandy, and he's been an asset to the defence, though you don't have much to offer in terms of style. The hair is thick, it's as strong as an ox, and that's been reflected in his performances this season. He hasn't put a foot or an air out of place.
Yes, that large frame and those strong arms offer so much security and warmth for the midfielders to work with. None more so than Michael Bowler, the engine room of the Takeaways midfield. he's joined by the unlikely combination of Mark Jervis and Aaron King to complete a formidable midfield.
Well, Bowler's a decent player and he's the glue in that midfield, sticking King and Jervis tightly together. King and Jervis, they make an odd couple, and to me it's certainly a marriage of convenience. They'll be hoping today's the day that they finally click and are able to consummate in front of what's come to be a very open-minded home crowd.
Adam Taylor leads the line and will be looking to build on his impressive start to the season. 4 goals in 4 league games is pleasant reading, even if the table is currently not looking kind to Jaipur.
Well, Taylor's had a fine start to the season. He's got bags of pace. He's a great little finisher, but he is very, very, very small, mind you, and today's opponents have been focusing on that physical battle to shove him off the ball, and a few quick passes for Taylor to chase, though. Could be our day for Hardley to hang on. Anyway, Jaipur look well set to give Hardley a run for their money, especially if King and Jervis can click out there in that muddy middle.
Well, Hardley Athletic are setting up to win again and look to match Jaipur in terms of formation with a 1-3-1. Dean Norris starts in goal, and he's very much the team's standout liability at the back, so he'll need plenty of protection today.
Well, I do feel sorry for Norris. He's certainly one of those keepers who's just making up the numbers. He's not got a football mind, and I'd say he plays like a duck out of water. I wasn't surprised to hear that he's been yammering on in the papers about equal pay for goalkeepers, and I've seen some of his misguided Instagram posts that seem to have come from the mind of somebody who's clearly lacking any critical filter.
Well, as you say, Fred, Norris has been very vocal in the calls for equal pay, which has caused plenty of aggro with most supporters of the movement online. They've been asking Norris to keep quiet on the matter as it's undermining the credibility of the cause.
Yeah, he's a passenger in this team if you ask me, and he's not doing the cause any favours. Wherever you sit on the matter of equal pay, I'd be pretty confident you don't want to be sat next to Bonehead Norris.
Sam Perry is left holding the fort at the back for HAFC. He struggled of late on his own and will hope for more help from the midfield today against Taylor.
Agree, Mark. I suspect that Perry's going to be in for a tough time today. He's got it hard enough with Norris behind him, let alone with Taylor for company. In fairness, Mace has been feeding him up, and he's certainly got a bit more timber on him than the start of the season. Tough job today, though. He'll need a big hand from his midfield.
Well, there's plenty of quality and plenty of hands in this midfield. At least 6 to be exact. Pritchard, Saunders and Sims will hope that they can dominate in this area and get the better of the Booners. Captain Saunders will be hoping that Pritchard and Sims will do most of the running and he can just pick off passes as he sees fit.
Yeah, I agree, Flano. Saunders can be a bit easy-ozy. He likes to let things happen rather than make them happen, but his manager will be hoping for a few flashes of that trademark visionary brilliance. Sims won't be happy with a lack of effort though, and he likes a good win, so that could get as messy as Saunders' hair. Pritchard though, he's a loose cannon, but he's got a nice touch, and these 3 together could give the Hardleys an edge if they can keep it up for the full game.
And the man up front who'll be looking to turn that edge into pure goals is Daniel McCabe. Very much the poster boy of this team. He's captured the imaginations of the ultras with his goals. He bagged 4 as HAFC dumped league leaders Bence's Lane Bastards out of the cup, and manager Mace quickly saw the marketing opportunity and released the club's newest pastry option, McCabe and Ale Pie.
Well, I ain't had his pies yet, but I've certainly seen his goals this season, and tell you what, I've been impressed. He gets through a hell of a lot of work up top, especially when his midfield are huffing and puffing in the second half, and he's sometimes dragged his team over the line, and the fans, well, they bloody love him. Going to be an interesting one to see if Jaipur can cope with the front 4 of HAFC, but with Bungle at the back and Barrow the Growler gnashing his way around the park, this should be a tasty one.
Well, the teams come out and both head to where the centre circle would have been if the groundsman had been able to mark it Everyone's ready to roll there, and today's referee Ian Holden has a rather fetching golden whistle in his hand.
Yes, Holden's very much old school, and he'll be looking to keep this fair and above board. That's the way he likes it. He's a silver fox with a golden whistle, and he's got plenty of irons to keep in the fire to keep this game in check. And, well, he'll want to show all his mettle and get those brass balls out on display for the crowd.
Indeed, Fred. Holden can look like a soft touch, but he's got a bit of steel under that bonnet. He's waiting now, and he's signalling that he's ready to start, and he's started waving his arms, and he's shouting in the direction of Norris.
Oh, what's he doing? Oh, bloody hell, here we go. Norris has got his shoes on his hands, and he's trying to do what looks like a protest handstand. Something about foot jobs and hand jobs. I reckon he's making a point about equal pay, but he's just looking like a tit, if you ask me.
Oh yeah, and he's fallen over and he's in a heap. Well, this is a very surreal start to proceedings. Perry's walking over to Norris along with Saunders, who's now got his hand on the back of Norris. He's clearly trying to get him to stand up, and Mace is on the touchline. He's starting to get annoyed. There's plenty of eye rolling, and Mace is heading over to his penalty area.
Well, wherever you sit on this equal pay debate, that certainly ain't the way to put your point across now, Dino. You ain't going to get anyone on your side by dicking about like that before a game. He's just undermining his cause.
Yes, and the manager's striding over and he's shouting at Norris, and he's counting down from 10 with his fingers so Norris can see exactly how long he's got to get his boots back on, and well, he's picking up the pace now.
Oh, and he's making sure that they're on before Mace gets anywhere near him. Well, he's still approaching, but Mace is slowing down now. 3 fingers left, 2, and yeah, Norris's boots are on, and Mace is just looking embarrassed for the kiddie. What a fucking palaver. And what a tool that Norris is.
Well, Mace is back in the technical area and the game's finally ready to start. Holden's blown on his whistle and we're on the go. Well, it's been a strong start from Jaipur. They've come out of the blocks quickly, and Unwin has the ball and those busy hands of his, and he's played it out to Hancock, who's got McKay for company, but Bungle whips the ball upfield and King is chasing that ball down. Saunders isn't following him. King now looks up, but Taylor's being marked by Perry, so the ball goes back to Bowler. Bowler takes a touch and he slides the ball through the left-hand channel, and Taylor now has a bit of space to run into. Approaches the area and he rounds Norris and he plays the ball towards goal from a wide out. It's just into the side netting.
Oh, well, close one that. Norris haired off his line, but Taylor was expecting it, and he rounded Norris easily, but he just couldn't quite find the finish.
Yes, good play from the Booner boys there. I don't think Perry would have made it back to clear if the ball was on target. That's a let-off for Hardly Athletic there.
Certainly was, Mark. Mace is on the touchline, shrieking at Norris to switch on, tapping the side of his head, and Norris waves his gloves in apology at his manager. It's that ebb and flow that you get, that back and forth, and it's how you read it that breeds success or failure out there. You just have to recognise how it's moving and use all your grey matter to try and shape it as best you can. A lot of people will say it's down to the type of gel or the pomade you use, but the really high level guys in the industry know it's all about the cut. Took me a long time to understand that.
Yes, Fred, structure is the key in both the salon and back here at the stadium. It's still 0-0 here, and both teams have settled into their own rhythms, and there's some of that ebb and flow going on as we speak in the Jaipur half now, and that's a wayward pass from Hancock which has been snapped up by Pritchard, who's herring down the left hand side like a hyena chasing an old alpaca.
Oh, well played, lad, look at him go.
And Sims is just inside him, he's calling for it, but the ball goes to McCabe, who flicks that directly into Sims's path, and that's nice from the hard-ons. Sims now, he's left Jervis panting behind him, and Sims now approaches the area, and that's a crunching tackle from Hancock there. The ball's away from the area, but Saunders picks that up, and he looks upfield and looks to play McCabe, but that's hit very hard, and it's caught Unwin off guard, and he's off his line. The ball's dipping, but it's just over the bar. Saunders hit that from 40 yards.
Well, he's shaped to hit that like it's a through ball, but then he's seen a little weakness and he's whipped that lob from way out. Unwin was out of position, and that reminded me of Ronaldinho in his prime, that one. It was all about the eyes from Saunders, and such top spin from the captain there. Genius.
Well, that certainly would have silenced the crowd if that one had gone in.
Yes, Flano, audacious stuff from Saunders there. Some of the home crowd might have said he didn't fancy running upfield and just had a long shot, but I'd say he saw an opening and he had the courage to follow his instincts there, and what incredible instincts he's got as a player.
That's a let-off for Unwin there. McCabe applauds his captain with a slight grimace. He'll have fancied himself to score with the right pass there. HAFC are just starting to get a foothold in the game. They're winning the midfield battles here with that extra weight helping in the 50-50s.
Yes, Flano, Sims is definitely looking beefed up and he's bullying Bowler right now, which Holden's keeping a firm eye on.
And Sims comes away with it there. Bowler's on all fours and he's shouting at Holden, but it's not getting any traction so far. Sims has the ball at his feet in the centre circle. Looks up now, but there's nothing on, so lays the ball to Saunders, who takes a touch and sprays a long ball towards McCabe and Hancock, and McCabe wins that header and he chases his own flick on. He's in on goal here. McCabe now opens up his body and shapes to shoot, but past Unwin, he dummies, and Unwin's misread that, and McCabe collects again. He rolls the ball into the empty net.
Well, that is wonderful stuff from McCabe. He's in such good form. That's a decent ball from Saunders, but McCabe wins the header, chases it down, sells Unwin that dummy. Beautiful little dummy, that one. He's gone to shoot with his right and just nudged the ball with his standing leg to play it past Unwin, who's totally bamboozled. Ball goes right, McCabe goes left and just collects that. Finishes it with ease.
Beautifully executed bit of skill from McCabe there, taking the ball past Unwin and collecting it again. Unwin is still trying to understand what happened. It's 1-0 to HAFC and the home crowd are silent.
Oh look, and McCabe is over at the corner flag and he's pulled up a Swede and he's swinging it around his head. Saunders is there with him and it's all smiles down there.
Brilliance from McCabe and HAFC are ahead. But Holden doesn't like the antics with the veg and he's produced his own Swede coloured card for what was McCabe overdoing the celebrations in the eyes of Holden.
Oh, Holden is not happy. He's given McCabe that glare. Doesn't seem to have made much of a difference to McCabe though. He's volleyed the Swede into the away fans and they are loving it. Well, I don't think much of the pitch right now. Jaipur are trying to get things moving, but it's been hard for them to play the ball on the deck. Christina Burbandy is looking a bit frustrated on the touchline, and oh, he's wearing a nice jacket though, and that'll be some comfort for him. I like a man who knows how to dress, and Burbandy is that kind of fella.
Well, he's certainly cutting a well-groomed but tense figure in what I initially thought was the technical area, but looks more like a vegetable patch. He's asking for more from his team and he's gesticulating to Bowler with what looks like a baby carrot.
Well, I know that sometimes you just need to get that message across and sometimes it has to be a very visual message, and Bowler looks to have understood and he's passing the message on to everybody else in the midfield.
Well, Unwin has the ball now and he's waving his players upfield, but then he just rolls the ball out to Hancock, who's got a bit of time to see what's on. The midfield's very compact right now and it's good marshalling from Saunders to block the natural route to Bowler. Hancock traps the ball and then McCabe is approaching and he blocks the clearance and the ball's in some space. It's a race between Unwin and McCabe here, and Unwin just gets that and clears the ball way upfield, and oh, Taylor's after that. Taylor's a few yards on Perry, who pulls up now. He's been enjoying catching up with Taylor, but there's no catching him now. Taylor in the clear and Taylor takes the ball. He's in on goal and he shoots, and Norris has got a hand to that and the ball is cleared into touch by Perry.
Well, I have to say that was a good stop from Norris, though I don't think he meant to save that, and he's beating his chest and he's thrown his arms in the air, and Holden's approaching Norris and he's wagging a finger.
Well, Norris was out of his area there and he's made that save, and is that a deliberate handball?
Well, I don't think anything Norris does is deliberate, Flano. That'd be a hard one to swallow if you're a bonehead.
Well, I think the Silver Fox agrees with you there, Fred, but he's talking to Norris about his conduct and he's issued a yellow card for that excessive celebration of that save, and Norris is shaking his head and he's no doubt feeling even more persecuted at present.
Yes, he is very emotional. You can see Saunders shares a look with Mace on the touchline. They just need to get to half time to make sure Norris keeps it together and He is one of those. He reminds me of Fabian Barthez, but without the skill. And Mace will certainly not want to lose his only goalkeeper. And luckily Holden blows on the whistle for half time before the game restarts. It's 1-0 to HAFC and they just about edged the first half. Well, it's been a funny game, Mark. Tight, but hardly Athletic have edged it. It's a delicate balance though, and the occasion has certainly got to Norris, who's caused Mace no end of palpitations. I can see now that Mace is having a few stern words with Norris, and well, Norris, he's wincing as he listens. You don't look like much is going in, but hopefully something will stick. Yes, Fred, there's going to be some choice words from both managers at half-time. No changing rooms here, so the teams walk off behind the runner beans to our left to have their half-time oranges. Well, McCabe's been a difference for me, but Taylor's had a couple of chances too, and how that last one didn't go in, I'll never know, and I wouldn't bet on Norris finding out either. Yep, the teams are back out and Holden's holding his golden whistle and blows deeply on it to start the second half. Well, it's been better from the Booner boys. Burgundy has tweaked a couple of things and some spaces are opening up. Jervis now on the ball and he wallops it across the field, hopefully where King is turning on the burners to get away from Pritchard, who's more than happy to see defeat in that foot race. King now looks in field and Taylor is there, but Perry is tailing Taylor, so King just continues. He's cutting in field and he spanks the ball towards the goal where it grazes the bar, and Norris didn't know anything about that at all. Oh, so close from King there. He went for power and an inch or two lower, and that's 1-1. Surprisingly good link up between Jervis and King there. Herman Burgundy is applauding, and obviously that's a game plan. Switch to play quickly and hope the HSC can't be bothered to track back. Yes, that could be a good ploy from Burgundy, Fred. Yes, Flanos, what I said. I'm liking this cosmopolitan approach from Herman Burgundy, but no, from Hergen Brandbaby, is it? Well, from the manager, that's all. Well, it's all Booner at the moment. It's getting hot as a Vinderloo for Hardley, and there's some tired legs out there and they're hanging on a bit, but there's still plenty of time to go, mind you. Yes, Fred, Saunders has it now and he's huffing a bit and just plays the ball back to Perry, who's happy to take possession. He measures a crossfield ball towards Sims and Sims collects. Sims now, still looking sharp, and he gets his head up, lays the ball to McCabe and continues his run past Jervis, who's frankly nigh on stationary. Yes, he's playing statues there. McCabe plays the ball back to Sims and he's looking to pass Hancock. Hancock though thunders across, but he's mistimed that tackle and Sims is away. Sims in on goal now and he lets fly and it's gloved up in the air by Unwin, who collects the ball on the bounce. Excellent save from Unwin. Oh, what a save from Unwin. Great work to get a big paw on that ball and such strong wrists to force the ball up in the air. Great presence of mind to collect that ball again before Sims got too close. And that could have been good night Vienna at the allotments, but Unwin has kept his team in the game here. Yes, he has. Sims is angry with himself and he's trying to G up the team, and Saunders is giving Sims the thumbs up whilst walking back to the centre circle, breathing quite heavily. Hardly Athletic have played well today, but there's 12 tired legs out there, like 1.5 exhausted spiders clinging onto their victory web tightly. But will the wind blow in their favour, or will it cast those legs overboard into the sea of points lost? Well, I'm not quite sure what you're going on about, but I'd say they'll need every inch of strength in those legs to keep the Jaipur at bay. Jervis, he started getting the edge on Pritchard, and Crystal Bumgravy's now waving Bowler upfield to support Taylor. Yes, Fred, it's all systems go on the touchline, but on the pitch the ball's sitting with Hancock, who sees Jervis in space. Jervis now. One touch and then on to Bowler, who's prowling for space in the middle. He sees King motoring up the right but opts to keep the ball, and then he shapes the ball along the ground with his instep up towards Taylor, who's in a little space and he's got Perry with him. Taylor now dwells slightly on the ball, but he's nipped that past Perry and he's turning on the gas here. Taylor in on goal and he's just stroked that into the far corner. Easy finish from Taylor, and he makes it count at the death. Well, that is a cool finish from Taylor. He just took a breath, picked his spot and Norris was nowhere near it and he sat on the 6-yard line looking like a broken man. Spits on the floor in disgust, but he's got to swallow that and go again. Yes, and the scores level here at the allotments, and Taylor grabs the ball out of the net. He's sprinting back to what would have been the centre circle. He's waving his team back and accepting Hancock's congratulations. Yes, and that's lit a fire under them, and they've been pressing all second half, and I wasn't sure if they'd find the edge, but they have, and the manager's been willing his team on, and the fans are right up for it now. Well, Joe Pritchard is running on fumes here, and Saunders' race looks run. He's asking Mace to be sub, but all Mace has got to offer is a Mars bar, and I think Saunders had one of those at half time. Well, it's getting frantic here. King has the ball now. He's got Pritchard with him, but grins as he pushes that ball up the line and sprints onto it. Great pace from the big winger. King now down the right hand side, and he launches the ball. Is there where Bowler on the volley? Oh, and it's hit the post. He's come back off Norris, and the ball's it's out for a corner. Well, that is so close from Bowler. He did so well to get up to that cross, and he's on that penalty spot, and it's a scissor kick and great connection with the ball. It's flown back off the post onto Norris and behind. Desperately unlucky there. Well, Bowler's picked himself up and he's heading over to take the corner. This is nervous times here for Hardly Athletic. Everyone's back and Norris is waving his hands around, and on the manager's orders, Hancock and Unwin, they're coming up from the back, and Jervis is wandering back towards his own goal to hold the fort. Well, it looks like old Hernan's going for broke here. He's praying to the good Lord, and he'll have to take a few risks to make him happy. And Bowler now stands near the corner flag. He's pulled up some parsley and he's tossed it into the air to see which way the wind's blowing. Holds his hands up now and the ball comes in, and Norris is there. He's punched but he's missed, and Hancock now stabs the boot and it's in, and Hancock at the back post pokes the ball home, and Norris misjudged that one. Oh dear Dino, what a bone ahead. That one looked routine to me, but he'll say there is a breeze about and that the parsley don't lie. Well, there's truth and there's lies, but in the end it don't matter. It's goals that count, and well, Hancock's got his toe onto one, and that's a golden egg there for Jaipur. Oh, it certainly is, Fred. Hancock is at the centre of a giant pylon, and Jervis is on top and he's grinning like a twat. Perry is ushering Norris away from the scene, and he's just simply crestfallen. You've got to feel for the man today. Well, yes you do. He's asked for the spotlight today with his antics, and his cows have come home to roost good and proper. And that is a big error at the death, and it won't do Norris or his cause any favours. Quite a turnaround here. Jaipur take the lead for the first time in the game on the 89th minute, and it's a long way back for Mace's team now. Well, Bowler has it now, and the ball's with Jaipur, and they're keeping it well. HAFC looks spent, with Captain Saunders actively asking Holden to blow his whistle, and there it is. Holden's golden whistle signals the end of the game. They left it late, but the game finished 2-1 to Jaipur. Yes, Flano, they were knocking on the door pretty much all of the second half, and well, with a doorman like Norris, you've always got a chance of getting in. And right at the death, he's dished out a VIP invitation to Hancock, and well, he's tiptoed right in there, hasn't he? The Booner boys have registered their first victory of the season, and the cosmopolitan crowd applaud their team. Krishnan Heron Burgundy pumps his fists and he points over to Santosh Baloo in the stands. It's a knowing look between the pair of them. Yes, and that's a nice touch between the two of them. Well, Mace, though, he's downcast and he walks off after clapping the away fans. He'll have wished for a bit more in the tank from his team to hang on for that win. It was 1-0 until the 86th minute, and just 2 body blows cost him the game. Well, Hardly Athletic lived up to the name today. They just didn't have enough fitness to finish off what was a promising first half performance. Yeah, agree, Mark. They'll have better days on better pitches. It was a good game though today, and a decent crowd, if a bit liberal for my liking.
The home crowd goes home happy today, and they'll be keen to continue the streak until the season's break. Thanks to Fred for joining, and we hope to see you again next time out.
Ta-da then.
Back to you in the studio, Gabby.